Hello everyone! Recently there has been good news for otakus. 2 new FLCL seasons are coming.
Eso es bueno.
At the end of 2017.
Está bueno, eso es malo.
Produced by Production IG.
Eso es bueno de nuevo.
By Kazuya Tsurumaki, director of Revolutionizing.
Eso es bueno de nuevo.
Frankly, it is a very delicate moment of the anime industry to return to a project as ambitious as FLCL, but Production IG is managing a co-production with Adult Swim, which means no censorship or budget and schedule problems.
Entonces el famoso estudio famoso por Sakura Wars y las obras de la clan podrá lucirse con una de las obras de anime que más impacto causó en Norteamérica. Pero espera, ¿que esta obra no era de la Gainax?
The original work is a co-production by Production IG and Gainax, like the Evangelion movies Death and Resurrection and The End of Evangelion. Remember that at that time Gainax was on the verge of bankruptcy and court proceedings for tax evasion, so co-produced with the prestigious Production IG studio was a good way to keep alive their producer. Currently, Gainax is not in a good shape after the departure of Hideaki Anno to Kara Studio, with much of the team of Evangelion to reset the philosophy of Anno in producing anime, and Hiroyuki Maishi went to Trigger with much of the Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann team with the ambitious intention to save the anime. Gainax suddenly found himself without any exceptional creative and AD vision, sued them for not giving them the perpetual rights of Evangelion live action as they agreed, so they have ended anchoring themselves in the easy way. And I believe that the FLCL right sales to Production IG illustrate their poor health. But back in the late 19s, both Production IG as Gainax were the most innovative studios in Japan. Despite the economic difficulties of Gainax, they were overflowing with ideas. After the success of Evangelion, his intention was to revolutionize the anime, and they did it. They caused the After-Evangelion Age. Remember that Gainax was not a conventional studio. We spoke about their peculiar philosophy of production here. It was based on causing euphoria to attract the fans' attention, and this resulted in a world philosophy of production that included reacting to fans' opinion and to offer a confusing narrative for the viewer to make him look for a deeper sense of what he was seeing. In the case of Evangelion, his intention was to renew the super robot genre, but the audience began to see there a deeper meaning, so they focused the argument to a social criticism based on the Christian philosophy and psychological youth problems. And this worked as well that after Evangelion every anime was filled with mystical and incomprehensible stuff. Serial Experiments Lane of Triangle Staff explored from a psychedelic optical the youth deshumanization that involved new technologies. Technolize is a cyberpunk story by Madhouse on the efforts of young people to fit into society. Guns, by Studio Gonzo, is a strange science fiction story about selfishness and the infighting that this entails.
Yo me quedo con Alien 9, ese anime de lolis kawaii que tiene un simbionte puesto en la cabeza, el cual se alimenta chupando la roña de las espaldas.
Almost everything was very dramatical and dark. On the other hand, FLCL was funny and hopeful. And I think that was the point of this anime.
A mí la moto circulando me pareció ilustrativo, coherente y kawaii.
Let's make a small digression and talk about the opening. Well, Actually, there is no opening, but there is an interesting ending in pixelation of a yellow scooter crossing the street that makes an impact. Does it reflect what the anime is? Not at all. Does it sell the soundtrack? Yes. It could work well as a music video. Does it show more quality than the anime actually has? No. It doesn't show even the same technique. Finally, the ending is not about driving ourselves in their world. It's about generating ourselves a sense of nostalgia for making us to want to see another episode. The feel of this ending is rather unending. No nostalgia here. This is for making us to stop shaking with anxiety before turning off the TV. This is not the mean of ending, but it's a good point, at least. It is according to the lack of narrative of this anime. But the incoherent narrative was not such a bad thing, because who did not understand the story could at least enjoy their euphoria.
Si todos sabemos de qué trata. Trata de motocicletas, robots con forma de mano por algún motivo, una invasión alienígena.
We can explain its plot basis. Now there's a 12-year-old child from an industrial town. After being hit by Naruko's motorcycle, a sexy alien, really mad, he gets the power to open portals in his head, where will emerge robots from the mechanical company. Haruko goes to work and live as a maid in the house of Naota, but it comes to be from the Space Police Galactic Brotherhood, and she's looking for Atomsk, the space pirate. Meanwhile, the Amanao commander from the Interstellar Immigration watches Naota because he believes that mechanical company wants to use these robots to conquer the galaxy. So Naota finds himself in the middle of a three-sides war. Naruko, Amarao, and the mechanical. Naota must understand the world around him to find Atomsk and choose in which side to fight with. As the whole story is told, there is not a clear plot, but by the age of the protagonist and the role of its determination to conclude the story, we assume that this has a plot of matureness. But if we continue to see this story as a conventional narrative, we do not understand this matureness, and that's because the characters are not well defined. Unless the protagonists, they are all one-dimensional, and this is the case of Naota. Their emotional reactions and their transformation because of his reaction to other characters.
Exacto, la Genki Shoujo quería meterse con el protagonista, pero este está enamorado de la kudere que fuma, así que no le quedó mejor opción que meterse con todas, mientras se agarraba a pelear con cada uno de los robots con forma de mano por algún motivo con los que se encuentra.
Right, Japanese narrative is slow and introspective, where the characters don't show any emotion, but the atmosphere shows them in their way. If this story is slow and introspective, I'm Batman. This is pure euphoria and madness. As Kazuya Tsurumaki said, as it is a 6-episode story, his idea was to do something short, heavy and fast, like a music video or a television commercial narrative. And do you know what kind of commercials are popular in Japan?
Machi. Cup noodle. 超かいい。ねえ、かわいい。エビ、かわいい。ブイヨン、かわいい。もう絶対いいで。カップヌードル。
This is a mad narrative Tsuremaki wants to bring us euphoria, waving our brain like a shaker.
Puede que las palabras de ese mensaje sean una fábula. Ya sabes, las protuberancias que salen de la cabeza del chico son una alegoría.
True, a fable is a kind of story where the characters have little background because they are like the words of a message told through the story. But in this case, what is the message of this story? Don't let any alien to run over with a scooter or robot will become from our head? A symbolical fable or allegory. In that case, there is a free band struggle. Each band must symbolize something. We have the crazy Haruko, Serious, Amarao, and the medical mechanical robots. Amarao is the only serious character in the series. He's not a father figure that otherwise Naota has not. He doesn't mind Naota's welfare. He wants him to get reason. Medical mechanical robots, on the other hand, are harmless until another character alters them. Terebiru spends the day cleaning the house and helping people until it eats Naota and becomes a killing machine. Their base is a giant iron that threatens to smooth the universe. They are the behaviors and the tendency of these to obey a routine. As for Haruko, a crazy girl who may not stop talking, she said its symbolism in an episode.
あなた本当に何者なの？私はたっくんの少年の日の心の中にいる青春の原因。
She is Naota's emotions. During the anime, they talk about that portals that arise between the two hemispheres of Naota's brain. Left hemisphere where it's supposed to reside emotions, and the right hemisphere where it is supposed to reside reason. And the struggle between reason and emotion is what brings our behavior. There is another very important character, Mamimi, a college girl, ex-girlfriend of Naota's brother, a melancholical girl. She always doubts whether or not to love Naota. It is the will of Naota, weak and modeled after his elder brother, as a way forward which Naota is not sure to take on. She is the only who perverts almost every robot which emerges from Naota's head, while Naruko and Naota, advised by Amarao, emerged with Celebiru to fight them. Apocalyptic robot fights are in the inner judgments, sometimes emotional, sometimes rational, and sometimes logical, whence arises determination. As for the space pirate Atoms, this is a character who doesn't really come to be. Everybody fears and seeks him, and the medical mechanical claims to have captured him. It is Naota's personality, arising from the reconciliation of all sides avoiding being ironed by the routine. And that was the goal of the whole story. It comes to be an otaku version of Kafka's Metamorphosis. This represents the struggle in a strange time of pre-adolescence when you stop being a child and begin to define the complex mechanisms of adult personality. First, we have the inherited will of the brother, the emotions that trigger decisions, reason, and when inner judgment created determination, the personality emerges. All of it alienated from ourselves, because when we haven't yet a definite personality, we are not responsible for our own decisions, and we feel this as other characters acting for us for each occasion. At the end, it comes Naota's personality, and every allegorical characters, except Telebiru, disappear. But they haven't really disappeared after all. They have been assimilated by Naota's teenager definite personality.
Así que Furikuri es filosófico, así como Boku no Pico.
The symbolism of teenage mental changes are so common in animation, and not only in Japanese anime. They don't go deep on it, and they have not reflect this in a brilliant way. The story is so chaotic and confusing that you only find this symbolism if previously someone has told you they are there. The first reaction we have with this anime is that this is a nonsense, and this is said even by serious critics.
FLCL may not have a straightforward or deep plot. It may not have complex characterizations. Hell, it may not have any meaning. But FLCL does succeed in its true objective. It is fun to watch.
In my opinion, it fails as a philosophical plot, but it has 2 points in its favor. First, it is a short OVA. There are 6 episodes, so we cannot expect it to have much more of matureness plot, and contrary to what would happen in a television series or a movie, viewer can watch this anime more than once to understand. And second, the design is beautiful, direction is pure euphoria, its animation is very creative, rock music by Pillows is cool, and it keeps us surprising with a visual impact after another. Only this already justifies this anime that will not be tedious, as it lasts just 6 episodes, and whoever strives to understand certain undertone won't be disappointed. I also like to discuss the work of color in this anime. Contrasting pitch tones are beautiful, atmospherical but powerful and sensual. They give the feeling of a young boy excited by something mysterious to face. Its color is so good that John Falusi praised it. Yeah, the same John K, who sits on all animation, especially the Japanese ones.
Entonces me recomienda ver Koukaku no Pandora para ver este anime?
Yes! Let the fact this shit and look furry. But the truth is that I could not recommend this anime to everybody. This anime becomes an artistic resource itself.
It was an artistic resource.
So, an otaku artistic resource.
It was an artistic resource. Yeah.
I have seen 3 reactions to Furikuri. It has neither head or tails get away. It has neither head or tails, but it really rocks. It's philosophical, and I'm super smart to understand it.
Y para las nuevas temporadas se van a hacer algo parecido.
I think fans doesn't expect any other thing. The revival of Furikuri will be about Naota years later in high school, when there is an intergalactic war between the medical mechanical and the fraternity. Hidomi, a fellow of Naota, is a girl melancholical and shocked until Haruko returns as a teacher. There is an attack of the medical mechanical over the town, and only Hidomi, with the help of Haruko, will unravel the riddle to save the city.
¿Han mezclado la historia con las obras de Kyoto Animation?
That's to be seen. See you soon!